Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to talking about the authenticating, how Kubernetes can authenticate the users. All Kubernetes clusters have two categories of the users. One, service accounts, and the other one, user accounts. But what's the difference between them? One of them is the user accounts managed by administrator. An administrator can distribute these private keys or can store it as a keystone or the Google accounts, or create a file with the list of the username and passwords. But the service account is managed by Kubernetes API and is stored as a secret in the Kubernetes. So actually service accounts is created by the Kubernetes API, but the users cannot create by the cluster or by the API call. But let's see the difference between the user accounts and the service accounts, and when we should use the user account, when we should use the service account. User accounts is for the human. It means that if you want to add the user to the cluster, like a Sina, like for example, or as a group, like a web team or the data team, you need to create user accounts. But for the application processes, you need to create a service accounts. If you want to authenticate one pod to do something, you need to use service account, and it's going to authenticate it by the service account. User accounts are global. It means that if you create a one user like Sina in the cluster, it's unique for the whole cluster. But service accounts is namespace. It means that it's unique per namespace. You can have one service accounts for example, application X in the namespace X and one application name X in the namespace Y. User accounts are more complex. It's not that much complex, but it means that it's needs to create handled by the database. It's not handled by the Kubernetes, like storing in the Google accounts or as a file. But service accounts is more lightweight. It means that it needs to create by the user. User going to create a service account, or it's automatically created by the Kubernetes. So this lightweight, it shows that you can use various of the service account for the component, or it's more portable. It means you can create a one service accounts. You can create a multiple service account for one namespace and use it in the other namespace too. So let's see how we can see that in the Kubernetes. If you see the config, the kube config, you can see that the normal context used by user. You can see the minikube context here. If I want to service account, you can use the service account, but you need to mention the namespace. If you don't mention the namespace, use the default namespace. For example, now I have a one service account that name default that 32 days ago. One in the demo, for example, it's another service account that's name defaulted 21 days ago. And in the name demo 2, I created one default one 19 days ago. So we can see that we can have three same namespace in the three different same name service account in three different namespace here. Complex system or the advanced system, you maybe have 1,000 of user accounts, 1,000 of the service accounts, and you need to be control this as an administrator by the RBAC. We have an RBAC video that's talk about the RBAC, and I have a user account video that's going to create a certificate for the users, and another video that's talking about the service accounts.